we don't like black people. I can't put myself in the mind of a racist person because I don't know how to.
I mean, let's just look at France as a country. Current World Cup.
Let's not get that far.
Let's take out all the black players from the French squad. Where's your World Cup now?
Yeah,
Yeah,
true.
yeah.
They don't have it.
100%.
Their best players have been black for quite some time.
It's tough.
Kante, Pogba. Oh my goodness.
Kante.
Guys, can I say something?
Mbappe, and then you go back to players. You go back to Henry, David Trezeguet, and all those men as well. Like,
Look at the players that are scapegoated at clubs. Look at players that are scapegoated at clubs. Paul Pogba, Mesut Ozil. Look at all these players that are scapegoated. It's not.
Yeah, there is a religious agenda against some players in the UK. Mo Salah, Mesut Ozil, Paul Pogba. They're Muslim players. And
they're not white. At the same time, let's pick them up. Mo Salah, what he's done at Liverpool, he has completely affected the way a whole city sees Muslim people. Him and Mane, as bad as sometimes you can do, you know what? Big up to Mo Salah. Because Mo Salah, what he's done is he's completely dropped. Like, we don't realize what's happening to us sometimes. Because Prime didn't realize when it happened to him. I didn't even realize when somebody said to me the other day, Wax, I'm going to force feed you bacon. I didn't even realize what he said until I took it in, like a couple days later. Like, when people say things, sometimes as a person who's happening to, you don't even realize it. Sometimes it takes somebody else to clock it. Because it's like, it's so...
Just agenda against some players in the UK. Mo Salah, Mesut Ozil, Paul Pogba. They're Muslim players, and they're
not white. They're not white.
At the same time, let's pick them up. Mo Salah, what he's done at Liverpool, he has completely affected the way a whole city sees Muslim people. Him and Mane, as bad as sometimes you can do, you know what? Big up to Mo Salah, because Mo Salah, what he's done is he's completely dropped their understanding of the religion, their understanding of how people are, their understanding their cultural appropriation. What Mo Salah has done for Liverpool and Mane has done for Liverpool, these guys have gone into that place, and in a span of 2 years, that city has dropped in their racial situations.
I know it's funny that you say that though, because Mo Salah come out maybe about 2 weeks ago and said he doesn't feel loved in Liverpool. He come out about 2 weeks ago and said he doesn't feel loved in Liverpool.
Wow, I didn't even.
In the club or like the actual city or both?
I'll actually find it now. I'll actually just type it because I know I read it on Twitter about 2 weeks ago, a week ago. What? Not feeling loved at Liverpool. Let's just type that in.
1 second. We got a West Ham fan here. Tom, what do you got to say on this before we go to Gunner Express? We're talking about abuse. It doesn't have to be just racial abuse. It can be derogatory terms. It can be situations where people talk about their nationalities, and it's been happening to footballers throughout the game all year. It's been happening on Twitter more and more often as the main place where it's being highlighted, even Instagram. What is your take on this, man?
So racism, discrimination has always been happening. Can everyone hear me okay, yeah?
Yeah.
I had to move to the room. My son's sleeping, so I have to go to the room. So hi everyone, nice to meet you all. Hey Lambs. And so basically, racism, discrimination has been going on for centuries and centuries and centuries. We're just very fortunate now it's been recorded. When you have a prime minister that is very openly racist, and you previously just had a racist president who's very openly racist and very discrimination, very sexist, it breeds a confidence to the public. To the public, where it means that if this man of power can say this, so can I. Hey, shout out to Dizzy. So for me, my friend, is that unfortunately it's normality now. It's the normality that people feel they can do it because nothing's going to happen to them. For example, Ian Wright, a guy openly admitted to be racist to him. The powers that be said he was too young to know what he was doing or too young to punish him. Now, did you guys see the clip of the referee that squared up to the players on Sky Sports? Nearly 24, 48 hours later, FA came out and changed the rules. That if a referee was to ever to attack a player, they'd be banned. Just less than 48 hours, they changed the rules. Now, what does that tell you? It tells you that the importance of eradicating racism is not important at all.
100%.
If we change racism with the word bullying, Now, may she rest in peace, Caroline Flack, ITV. Okay. Now, many people watched her on TV, trolled her, blah 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 blah. When it came out that what had happened to her, this whole campaign of it's okay to be okay. It's if she's got nothing to good to say, don't say nothing at all. That's just standard, okay? That's like normal practice, you know. In our communities, when we're being brought up, if you ain't got nothing good to say, you don't open your mouth. Now, unfortunately, this what happened to her happened, okay? Now, the attitude towards the whole campaign of bullying, of social media trolls, was taken to a different level and given a completely bright light.
A movement.
Now, yes. So are we listening to the language I'm using? Bullying, mental health. Okay, not racism. Okay, because it doesn't affect them; it affects us. So, unfortunately, until we put racism on the highest pedestal, my people, we will never be equal. We will never be seen as equal, and we will forever be racially profiled, racially discriminated against. And you know what makes me sad is I'm looking at Lambs, my friend. That's a double whammy, guys. She's female and she's black. Okay. Now, I'm a pioneer for equality, but you know, have we ever thought about the women of color? You know, the opportunity that stands for women in general. What about the women of color? You know, that's a double whammy. Imagine trying to get into an industry that's male dominated and you're female, but you're a black woman. You know, but listen, if people like Lambs can't get in, she's drawn out the race card. However, if a white female or females of no visible ethnicity, it's called there has to be a change for diversity. Now we also what happened with Sky Sports, Alex Scott, Michael Richards and stuff, and we also the uproar. You know, these are the people that played football, won trophies, have probably more to say than we all do, but because of their color of their skin, it seemed a problem. Now let's look who they were replacing. Okay, Charlie Nicholson, Steve Thompson, and what's the other gentleman's name? Matt Letizia, right? Now, these players played in a different generation of football. What happens with fashion, with movements? You catch up with the times. Xbox after whatever. You go with the times. You refresh them. And right now, our people, it's our time. We are entertaining. We are more cultured. We are funny. We have character. You ask us a question, we're not going to give you the robotic answer. You know. And also, if you think, my opinion, but Alex Scott's probably one of the best pundits right now. Actually, to be honest.
Michael Richards and Roy Keane.
Michael Richards as well.
Roy Keane, that combo.
Do you know what? I'm not being funny, but I dare say the Irish people back in the day and still to this day are still racially profiled. And
Yo, you don't realize it when it's happening to you, Bobs. 1 second.
Yeah.
You don't realize it when it's happening to us sometimes, because Prime didn't realize it when it happened to him. I didn't even realize when somebody said to me the other day, Wax, I'm going to force feed you bacon. I didn't even realize what he said until I took it in like a couple of days later. Like when people say things, sometimes as a person who it's happening to, you don't even realize it. Sometimes it takes somebody else to clock it because it's like that you don't think it could happen to you.
Yeah, so and unfortunate, you know, the way I'm going to answer is that you know, when we're growing up, Show, Wax, Lambs, Sam, you're a bit young. That the talk. Now, when you go to school, you may look different compared to people. So we are taught to be on the defense from day one. Okay, from the get-go. People are told go out, have fun. We are told this may happen. You know,
be careful.
And then yes,
be
and
careful.
when it does happen, unfortunately, some people are shocked. Some people struggle how to deal with it, and some people think to themselves, "Did that really just happen?" And the sad part is that we have to act with humility. We have to be seen as the calm one. even though we are the victim.
You have to walk away.
If we dare say something back, we are the aggressor. We are the problem. And when we do walk away, we are told, "Oh, you handled that brilliantly." In the same breath, how can you tell me I handled being racially profiled brilliantly? Because I didn't cause a storm or a problem for you to deal with. And this is what I'm saying about with the Prime situation. You know, listen, you all see me. I cried when that happened. It hurt me. Do you know why it hurt me? Because I watched a little brother be racially profiled, and he didn't know what to do, and there was no one there to help him. You know, to like, even if we get into fights, guys, you know, the big brother say, "Listen, just let's just go." Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And he didn't have any of that. And these people, I called them all out, and they all say, sorry, I'm going a bit off here. Yeah, everyone shouts BLM, Black Lives Matter, and so on and so on, but they call Prime their friend. Prime's not their friend. Okay, all Prime is to them is a way to attract views. And this is what I'm going to say now. Isn't this weird? Let's get the black guy who's entertaining, who can attract a crowd. Use him as much as we can. Then when something goes wrong, we do nothing. We act like it didn't happen. Now, for me, I'm thinking, this is just society repeating itself. It's just a conveyor belt, you know? And the difference is now is that we're talking about it. We're banding together. We're normalizing the conversation. We are more smarter. You know what? We're not more smart. We're more braver. That's it. The courage in us. We're actually, do you know what? I'm not standing for this anymore. You are going to hear me. We're going to be loud. We're going to stay proud. You know, Black lives do matter. And no other life of any race can really matter until Black lives do matter. Because what about us? You know? And we always have to, I always say this every time I talk about racism. How can you be angry at us when we didn't even create racism? And how can you be
angry? Who grew up outside of the country, that means, based on what you're saying, it means, if I'm not English, I'm not a proper Arsenal fan. If I'm not from North London, I'm not a proper Arsenal fan.
You know, the thing is, these Arsenal was Man United, the best ever players to play for the clubs were black. If you go on with Dwight York, he's from Trinidad and Tobago. He's one of the best players. Ian Wright, he's originally from Jamaica. One of the best players.
Henry.
He's from Central Africa.
Forget about that. I was on an argument. I had a debate with somebody recently, and they told me, I'm a proper Arsenal fan. What are you, kind of thing? Basically, indirectly saying something like that. Like, what is that to you guys? What is that to you guys? Is that not basically saying, what are you? Who are you? What? I'm not questioning you as a fan. Why do you have to go there?
I'll go before votes. You know what? The foreign fans are the most passionate people because they stay up to 5 in the morning, 4 in the morning. No matter how bad your team is, they don't go. They choose. They may have a job, and instead of that, they watch a team that they love. That's what they do.
Cool, bro.
Safe, man. So, sorry, carry on, Sam.
No, I'm just saying that people run the road. Listen, they spend the whole night, 2 in the morning, 4 in the morning, 6 a.m. They wake up early, day and night to watch a team lose. They're just as heartbroken as us.
Yeah, and they spend the most money as well, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Not only do they buy the shirt, but half the things to get it out to them countries alone.
And even travel to watch
Wax's opinion on this, guys. 1 second. Wax has been quiet the whole time. Wax, what do you think about
based on your question that you just said, sometimes I think people misinterpret, what they actually mean when they actually question that maybe a person that might have started supporting Arsenal in 2005, and they were supporting Arsenal since the 1980s. They see themselves as someone that's got more football knowledge, maybe more knowledge on Arsenal than the person that started supporting in 2005. Because of that, they're going to say, "Oh, you're a fake fan because you don't know what I know from 1980 or 1990 or Do you know what I mean? And I think
That's what I take from it.
it's just based on knowledge. It's just based on knowledge about the club. Some people might not know as much as others. Therefore, you ain't perceived as a real fan because you don't know what I know. Do you know what I mean? And things like that. It's bullshit, really, man.
Yeah.
What about this? What about this? If you became an Arsenal fan 5 years ago, are you gonna call that person a fake fan because they don't know knowledge from 15 years ago?
No,
or they haven't educated themselves on that? Like,
No,
I'm
so
not
do you know-
saying,
do you know what?
I'm not talking about myself. I've been an Arsenal fan basically my whole entire life, but I don't know as much as some of you guys that have grown and been entrenched in all the memories. For God's sakes, I didn't realize all the old games are on TV every single night on Sky Sports until I moved here. Because for me, I see the games, I see the highlights from all the games, and I'm done. I never knew what match of the day was until I moved here. That's how.
Do you know what, Gal? I think what you need to realize, okay, is that as a person, and I've had this argument before. Let's not say argument. This debate before, and about someone says, "Well, you're not a real Man United fan. You live in Scotland." Okay, so I said something else. Let's break it down. When Man United play, I watch the match. If I can get tickets, I'll go. I'll travel. When they came to Scotland and played Rangers, I went to the game. Now, I watch every single game. I watch every single interview. I'm a football fanatic. Now, why do you think, because you go to the games, that you are more wiser
or
and
more
have
fan?
response?
Yeah.
And when you, what I say to you guys as brothers is this: when someone tries to question you, they don't know you from Adam. My response is just to smile at them and say, "Have a good day," because you are not coming up here to say, you are not coming up against me to be like, I'm better than you. Well, good for you. If that's what you need to believe to have a successful, positive day, go about your business. We all need to remember the same thing, guys. Our club has millions and millions of fans. And when people say, "Oh, you're not real from her," well, do you know what? Good for you. I must be doing something right or saying something for you to want to interact with me. And at the football matches, I must be wearing something or looking like something that makes you want to interact with me. Not because you don't like me, it's because you're jealous. Because we come on these YouTubes, we show our face, we speak how we see the game. What? Because we didn't say it in a certain accent? Or is it because we didn't use a certain language? Also, here's the one thing. I don't see football players going to their colleagues saying, "I'm a better footballer than you," or "I'm a better trainer than you." They play as a team. So if I support the same team, why can't we get along? Do you get what I'm trying to say?
100%.
And unfortunately, not everyone thinks like that. And I think what I'm noticing is the older generation, that's older than me, and Samuel's generation, there's a conflict.
100%. I know
There's a conflict
I've noticed
because you've got the older generation that have been through. I don't know how old you guys, but do you guys remember when the Premiership was on ITV before
on the Saturday thing. Yeah, of course, bro. I'm 35, bro. I'm old, blood. I'm old.
I'm 31, bro. So like, you remember that when it was on? It was YouTube.
yeah, mate.
That
Yeah,
was
mate.
the thing. And then if you
Top of the pop stays in that.
So yeah, if you missed the game, you knew you had to watch. But now,
Catch it
doesn't even
whenever.
matter if you don't miss the game because
Yeah.
you can get clips, YouTube, goal highlights, and there's stat padding. Now, can you imagine in our generation? I assume you guys support Arsenal.
Yeah.
Yeah. So can you imagine someone saying to you, "Oh, Henry was rubbish today. You only had so and so GA."
I lie, bro. I lie.
But that
I lie, bro.
person.
Burkham didn't track back. Can you imagine? Like, all that shit there, bro. I lie, bro.
That's a new one. That's a new one.
It'll be dumb, bro.
Exactly. And like, so that's the conflict. And then there's our generation where we were brought up on the Premiership, Goal Lazio, Channel 4 when Italian football was
Channel 4, Channel 4, innit? Yeah, I remember that.
When football
Goal
was
Lazio!
And then we've got football, and then obviously we are now seeing a new breed. We've saw Ronaldinho become, and leave. When we've seen Messi Now we're seeing the birth of Mbappe. But these generations, Samuel generation, it's just seeing Mbappe, and they're saying, "Oh, Mbappe's done it," and then like it makes you think like, and you're questioning my knowledge of football, but you're telling me Mbappe. Do you know what I'm trying to say? So I think social media has ruined it. Sky have ruined it because could you imagine watching football back in the day, and then even if you missed it, you can go on your phone, and the goal will be there. Like you don't. Some people, I honestly genuinely believe that a lot of people don't watch football matches anymore.
100% highlights. Yeah, 100%.
Don't watch football matches anymore. And I think to myself, because of these apps and these replays, you just have to do that, and you'll get it. And now they'll look for stats. Now I can't believe
I seen a man do a match review bits and bobs on Arsenal. He did not watch the game. He just watched the highlights.
So, but I bet you people watch them. Do you know what I'm trying to say to you?
And listen, yeah.
Stats. And look, you could have. Listen, I'm talking about prime Chelsea with Mourinho. I'm talking Fergie, Man United, Wenger, Arsenal. Why? The last thing we want to hear is how many times Lee Dixon dribbled past his person, or how many times, how many touches Drogba had, or how many times flipping Roy Keane
This can't
tackled.
be true, guys. Is this true? Is this true?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Wow.
What?
I didn't know that.
Wow.
Oh
no, like on my passport, you have your birthplace. So like if you're born in Canada or you're born in Italy, we have that. But is that what you mean, or do you mean like you're? Because I'm confused.
It's here in the UK, isn't it? You have your birthplace on your passport.
Birthplace, yeah.
Yeah, is it not the same thing? Is it not the same thing? You don't have your actual race. Like, does it say you're black or you're white?
Like Caucasian. Yes, this one's a Negro. This one's
nah. I genuinely don't believe it, Lambs. I have to see it. I can't. I don't believe it.
The
Yo,
world's
guys.
going crazy, man. The world's going crazy, bruv. You wouldn't even be surprised if that was the case, bruv. With certain countries, with the way they operate in China, other countries, it's just crazy, bro.
Yo, let's not get the podcast completely blacklisted. But yo, today we dove in deep. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna clip this up, the whole 45 minutes that we were talking about, just the issues in football and social media and race and everything. I'm gonna make it another video and I'm gonna release it tomorrow morning 9 a.m. Big up to everyone who's come on. We got someone coming on last minute. Who's that? Okay. Anyways, we're out of here, people. Big up to everybody watching. I hope you subscribe. I hope you like the video, because if you haven't already liked the video, that's my investment. That's what I need from you guys. My investment is the content that I'm going to do, but I need you guys to invest in me by hitting those like buttons. Let's get it started, people.